Hello and welcome back to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me to talk about the Wake Forest Demon Deacons versus the North Carolina Tar Heels in this college football preview is our host, Mr. Logan Landers. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, Jeremiah? Happy Tuesday to all the watchers out there, all the viewers, all the listeners. It's a great show we got here today. We just talked about some SEC. Now we're gonna kick it over to the ACC with the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, undefeated on the season, number 10 ranked team in the country. A lot of people did not see this coming, and of course, the North Carolina Tar Heels, one of the most historic programs throughout just colleges in general, let alone football, basketball. That you name it, they are there in terms of history and importance to the game of college. And hey, it's going to be a good matchup here between two ACC giants. I can't wait to see who pulls it out, and I can't wait to get into it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or listening on our podcast, thank you so much. And especially thank you for listening right now and for sharing with your friends and family, telling them by word of mouth about 100 yards of football. Well, without any further ado, the Demon Deacons and the Tar Heels, Mr. Logan Landers, what do these fans have to look forward to this week?
Well, let's talk about the big winner here, the breadwinners, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Like I mentioned, number 10 ranked team in the country, undefeated, not a loss on their record. The perfect 8-0 season is going to try and continue against the North Carolina Tar Heels. They've looked good this season. They've beaten a few teams. They beat Florida State, they beat Louisiana, they beat Duke. But this is kind of a big test here because I get that North Carolina is not ranked, but this is a game to not be slept on. That's why we're covering it here on the program, because North Carolina, in some people's eyes, a lot of bettors' eyes, in terms of other people in the media, they've got North Carolina with the slight edge in this one. And it's like, man, that's crazy. You've got more people going for the upset than the top ten ranked team. So for if you're Wake Forest, like you said, you've looked good on the year. This is a big test for them, though. But my goodness, the offensive just onslaught they've put on teams this year has been something to watch, Jeremiah. I'm looking here 70 points, 40 points, 37, 37, 40 plus. Just every time they step on the field, you can expect 30 plus points from this team. And they've done it every single game so far for 8 games on the year. I think that's going to continue this game. Their offense is absolutely amazing. And let's talk about who are some of the key players. Sam Hartman, 2,475 passing yards on the year. My goodness, 22 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions, only been sacked 11 times, so he has looked downright amazing at times. 65% completion percentage, not too shabby. So he is, the heart and soul, the leader for this team, the quarterback, the man you want with the ball in your hands late in the fourth quarter. And I think someone who's trying to live up to the challenge of all of the naysayers going into this game against North Carolina. And he, like I said, he's looked great this year, and I think he's going to continue against the Tar Heels. But it's not just him. He's got a good cast around him. Christian Beal-Smith, the running back, almost 500 yards on the ground, 7 touchdowns, averages about 5 yards a carry. So he's looked really good. Justice Ellison, the other running back, 340 yards, 4 touchdowns. Christian Turner, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Sam Hartman, like I mentioned, he can do it on the air, and he can run it too. 50 carries, 207 yards, and 6 touchdowns with the feet, with the nice footwork. So he is definitely the heart and soul for the Demon Deacons, the leader, the guy you want to win the ball game. And man, he's really been kind of a surprise story because Wake Forest is not historically top 10 ranked team, someone you think of as a powerhouse in college football. There's just never really been that kind of team. But kind of like with the COVID shortened season, the craziness that went on last year, it helped some schools. And with Wake Forest, they were able to get a good amount of recruits that and a good amount of players, and they're doing great this year. I'm happy for all the Demon Deacons fans. It's a long time coming, and I'm happy that they're in this position. But let's go back to the team here. Jaquil Robertson, the wide receiver, leading the team, 737 yards, 43 catches, 6 touchdowns, and A.T. Perry, 36 catches, 716 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Both those gentlemen trying to get more in this upcoming game, and I think they will. They're looking good. But, man, they've looked great on offense. That is for sure how they've made their money, how they've gotten all their wins. But the defense for the Demon Deacons is not to be slept on either. Ryan Sminda and Luke Masterson, Both are leading the team with 44 tackles on the year, so they are definitely doing their part. And Rondell Betroid leading the team with 5 sacks. Not too far behind is Luigi Villain with 4.5. So they have some heavy hitters on that team. They've got 24 sacks as a team, as well as 8 INTs, looking really good as ball hawks. Travion Reed, the D-backs, got 3 on the year, and Kalen Carson, 7 passes defended, 2 interceptions. Both those gentlemen looking to have another big day against the North Carolina Tar Heels. So if I'm Wake Forest, man, just keep doing what you've been doing so far of this season. Just looking really good, have a lot of offensive output, and the defense can just do and coast along, I think, like they've done the majority of this season. But let's move over to the Tar Heels. Mac Brown and company looking good. Kind of an up and down season. They haven't really gotten much of a win streak going. They haven't won more than 2 in a row. So they're just trying to get some momentum on their side. They've had a few tough losses. They lost to Notre Dame 44-34. So they had it close, but they just were not able to come out with the win on that one. But they're also another team. They can put up points in a hurry. So, of course, led by Sam Howell, throwing for over 2,000 yards this season, 63% completion percentage, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a little bit more, and 30 sacks. Let me just say this again. I make sure I read that right. Let me get the crust out of my eyes this morning. 30 sacks. That's probably a reason, Jeremiah, if I had to guess, if I was a betting man, that they are 4-4 on the season. Man, that is quite a lot. And if you're North Carolina, if you want to win this ball game and get the upset, you've got to keep your quarterback on his feet and not on the ground, because whenever he's there, whenever he's slinging the ball, he can get it done. But getting sacked 30 times, that is a one-way trip to a broken leg, to a broken arm. You just never know. One bad hit could end his season. You hope it doesn't come this year. He's tough. He's durable. But, man, you just got to protect him for just a couple more games, and hopefully, some new recruits next year or some transfers can help him out. But, man, hopefully Sam is looking good, and he can just, lick his wounds a little bit longer at the quarterback position for North Carolina. But let's talk about the rushing game, because that's also a big key for them. Ty Chandler, 671 yards, 9 touchdowns, looking really good. Sam Howell, like I just mentioned, second on team in rushing with over 500 yards. He's got it going as well. 6 touchdowns. But I mean, let's face it, Jeremiah, he's trying to get out of sacks all the time. So he's going to be scrambling a good bit. So I can see why he's second on team in rushing. The DJ Jones, 206 yards for him. So they're looking good on offense. Just got to keep them upright. But the wide receiving core, Josh Downs, 70 catches, getting close to 1,000 yards receiving. 8 touchdowns for the young man. He's looked great this season. Kamari Morales, though, the tight end, he might be a guy to look out for in this game. 4 touchdowns, only 17 catches for 154 yards. So when they're in the end zone, they're not afraid to give it to the big man. And that's something that teams might just forget. You look at the wide receiving core, you look at the running backs, and just kind of focus in on them. But then, there's the tight end there with Morales, and he's right there to get 6 points on the board real quick. So he might be going for a good day. I said, I was trying to mention the kicking in these big games. Wake Forest, they didn't have much of an issue. They were pretty much perfect. But for North Carolina, Grayson Atkins, 35 of 35 from extra points, but 8 of 12 from the field goal. That's a little bit worrying to me. He's missed a couple. He's missed 1 from 30 to 39, but he has missed 3 from 50 plus. So if there's a long kick that you need to tie the ball game, to win the ball game, is 25% from 50 plus, is that really what you want to, hang your hat on to win the game? I'm not too sure for North Carolina. We'll have to see if they even get in that situation, but you're hoping you don't, but we will see. As for the defense, Cedric Gray leading the team with 46 tackles in the year, and Jeremiah Gimmel, the linebacker, with 43 right behind him. They're battling to see who's going to have the most tackles for the Tar Heels. Miles Murphy, 4 sacks, leads the team, and Tom and Fox, the linebacker, with 3.5. Also, Cayman Rucker, 3.5. They help out getting to the quarterback. They've got only 15 sacks as a team. You got to think they got to step that up. They got to get to the quarterback a little bit more. But they do have some ball hawks. They have some guys that can get INTs. They've got a total of 7 on the season, and that is in part thanks to Cameron Kelly, Cedric Gray, and Jaquarius Conley. Each of those gentlemen have 2 apiece, and they definitely need to get a few turnovers this game, I think, if they want to win against the Demon Deacons. So overall, I think this one is going to be a little bit closer, but I'm going to shy away from what everyone else is saying, and I'm going to think the Demon Deacons maintain their top 10 spot in a nail biter, though. I want this one to be close. I think Wake Forest will get the win 37, and North Carolina, like I mentioned with the kicking game, that might be their downfall, and for my prediction, it is. So Wake Forest 37, North Carolina 34. So a close game. I think Demon Deacons will pull it out, keep the momentum riding, and all the fans over there at that college are going to be just hyped to get this big win. I'm excited to see how this game plays out, and I'm ready for it.
Absolutely. So 37-34, the Demon Deacons over the Tar Heels. I definitely see that. I think that people are going to go completely crazy if it happens. Yeah, Wake Forest, I mean, you're talking about a team that is undefeated. I mean, yes, they have not faced the biggest teams in the nation yet. They may not even get the opportunity given the way the strength of schedule for some of the other, teams. But man, they are fighting, and it's got to be great to be a Demon Deacon and have that season under your belt at the moment. I hope that they continue to rock on, have a great bowl game, and I can just see this season closing out really well. Well, tell us, what do you think? What would be the final score for the Demon Deacons and the Tar Heels? Tell us in the comments what you think it'll be. Or can the Tar Heels get the upset? Can they come out on top? And can they have a great game, and shake up what's going on with the Demon Deacons? We want to know from you. So if you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, thank you so much. All of your shares and telling your friends and family about us from word of mouth, and especially when you're doing your holidays and you're having your holiday gatherings, just mention it. Hey, are you guys listening to 100 Yards of Football? And they'll be like, well, we are now. So go over and listen to our podcast, 100 Yards of Football, over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Just look up 100 Yards of Football, and we'll pop right up. Just look for that 50-yard line picture there with 100 Yards of Football logo, and our great sponsor, the Believe Podcast Network, who has been helping us bring our podcast to you week after week for over a year now, and it's been amazing. So thank you so much for listening to our podcast and for watching the live programming week after week with my dude Logan Landers and the rest of our amazing team, our founder, Vincent Mr. Football Turner, 12-time football veteran for the NFL, and amazing Florida State great Mr. Bobby Butler, and our coaching expert, Kevin the Bull Jones, who bring you the most incredible information every single week. Well, we're going to be back a little later with another live show. But for now, stay tuned and keep watching 100 Yards of Football Talk Radio.